Hi. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. Just finished up dinner. Almost. Okay, let me get you up here on my computer. There we go. Okay, hi. My name is Wendy Keys Turnbull, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I love to make cards, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a card. Oh, my hair's a little messed up, but that's okay. Remember, if you are watching, to be sure and say hello. If you are watching anytime between right now, hi, Gail. Gail, congratulations on Ashley's wedding, by the way. If you're watching anytime between now and 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Thursday night, make sure that you say something so that I enter you in the drawing for something little from me and Stampin' Up. And I'm going to, I think I'll put the camera right down right now and go ahead and get started. As people join, they can log in. So, okay, I'm going to switch the camera. See what I've got here. That's pretty good. Okay, so this is the host code if you want to order anything. Make sure that you use that. Actually, I'm going to put the host code link in the information about the video once I am done making the video. So let me pull this out a little bit. There we go. Okay. I see it's a little crooked, but that's okay. It'll work out. Okay. So the mini catalog is still current until the end of December. So you can still order from that. Just let me know. Okay, so today we're going to do something that I found on, you hear this name a lot from me, Jennifer McGuire. She is not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, but she is a card maker. And I really like the things that she does, and she does videos frequently, so I get ideas from her. So this is called an Off the Edge card, and this is what it looks like. And unfortunately, this was my first card and I did it wrong. So there's a lot of sticky stuff here because I glued it to the wrong side, and I've got to clean that up after we're done. But this is the card I'm going to teach you how to do the cutting off of the edge. I'm making a thank you card because that just happened to be what was with this set. So I'm using the Apple Harvest set, and I'm using the Apple Blossoms die, just the die for this apple. So I'm going to show you, I had some issues before I did this one. And Jennifer has another card on her site that has the apples off the top of the card. And if I have time, I may do one of those too. But let me show you, I had a little problem doing this to start with. What did I do with those? There they are. Twice I tried to cut the apples out like this, and I ended up cutting them in reverse. But that's okay, because this is actually the way that she used it for the ones that go at the top of the card. So what she did was she put it on a card like this, and the card was actually, I think she did it like this, and then she cut off the extra down here at the bottom to make the complete card. And then I tried to cut and stamp like she did. And when I went to stamp, I could not get it centered in each of the places. So I ended up stamping first and then cutting. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to start. And I would have used white, but all of my white is gone. I need to place an order. So I'm going to use Very Vanilla instead. This is the Stamparatus. This is a great thing to use if you're going to, yep, that works. If you want to be able to stamp a couple of times on the same thing and get it to stay where it should be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with it centered in the middle of the card. And I could measure, maybe I will, just to be good about it. Okay, so there's 1 3/4 on that side, and It's kind of hard to measure. Let me get up here. 1 3/4 on that side too, if you don't count the leaf, which I'm not going to count the leaf. So, okay, so we're just going to put it where we want it. We're going to close and we're going to open back up, and I'm using Memento ink because I'm going to be using Stampin' Blends to color it in, and they are alcohol based. So Memento ink is the only ink that is safe to use with it. And I think I want it to be nice and dark. So I'm going to go ahead and do it again. There we go. And now, and I think I better, I'm going to clean the stamp off real quick. Oh, you know what? I bet I should plug my phone in just to be safe. So hang on just a second. Yeah, plugged in. So that my battery doesn't die in the middle of everything. And plug this in also in case I want to turn the lights on. Okay. They don't want to turn on while I'm doing that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the stamp off so that I can move it and it won't stamp before I'm ready for it to stamp. Put this back up. Okay, so now I'm going to put this one on this side, and I want to line it up with the bottom of that one, and it's going to go off here a little bit, and that is fine. I want that to happen. Okay, I think that's even. Hi, Marin. Good to see you on. So I'm doing something called an Off the Edge card, Marin. And the idea came from a card maker who is not Stampin' Up! Named Jennifer McGuire, if you want to look her up. Okay, and then we're going to put a third one on the other side. And I want to make sure that they're pretty well lined up. Because you can see in this one that I made the mistake on that I also put one of the apples too high. So, okay, I think that's about right. I hate that my thing is at an angle. It needs to be up a little higher, but I don't have any way of getting it up there a little higher. It's just going to come back down, so I'm just going to let it go. Okay, here we go. Yes, that does look like it did it. Okay. Hi, Pamela. Okay, so now I have my 3 apples stamped. Pamela, we're making an Off the Edge card. Found the idea from Jennifer McGuire online. Okay, so I'm going to wipe off the stamp. I'm just going to go ahead and set it aside in case I want to do something else. All right, so now the next thing I have to do is I have to die cut these halfway out. So I have the little die here. I have my Stampin' Up! Embossing and die cutting and embossing machine. Hopefully you guys can see. I'll know in a minute. Yep, okay. It's going to be a little blurry probably because it's so close. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to put the die on. We'll start with that one. Oh boy, it's all bent out of shape already. I'll put the die on, and I probably should use some washi tape to put it in place, and I may go and grab washi tape in a second, see what I can do with this. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put this on. Oh, and I need to have this straight across. So I'm going to line this up with the grid line on my magic mat here because I want to make sure that these are straight across. There we go. And then I'm going to put this on so that it's just halfway up the apple. Maybe a little bit more than halfway, and this is a beveled edge, so it's only going to cut to there anyhow. So here we go. We'll roll her in, roll her back out. Whoops, and then I just moved it again, of course. Okay, we'll just put it to another line. That's okay. All right, and we're going to put it on to the next one. I think that's good. Looks like it's good. Put it in at an angle again. I guess I got to pull it out a little further. Okay, I'm going to try and line it up with where I stopped on the last one. Just right about there, I believe. Roll her in. I'm going a little higher than I wanted to. Maybe that's a little too high. Don't want it to cut there. Okay, I'm going to put it there. I can always tweak it if I need to with my scissors. All right. Hi, Aunt Bev. You're not able to get sound? Is everybody else having a problem hearing me? I think the sound's on my phone. Let me know if you're having if everybody else is having a problem hearing me too. All right, one more apple to cut. And remember, we're only cutting it halfway. Okay, good. Hi, Lori. Okay, good, good. Maybe Aunt Bev, check to see if you have it muted. All right, and then we're going to go here. And I do think that that was the right step. Of course, I'm saying that and she can't even hear me. Could somebody type that to her that she should check to see if she's muted? Okay, so here's what I have. I have my 3 apples. Oh, it looks like I even cut a little bit of the leaf out on that one. That's okay. Okay, let me get this out of the way. All right. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little foam pad and I'm going to take whatever this thing's called. It's kind of, excuse me, like an X-Acto knife. And I'm just going to, and I think probably the best thing to do is to line it up. And let's see here. Actually, I'm going to bend it so I can see where it lines up. Okay. Looks like I went a little crooked. So I'm going to get it. Oh, this is perfect because if I line the ruler up with the bottom of the card. Okay, and I'm just going to cut off the piece to the apple. Okay, and here, that should be it. I should be able to pull that off. There we go. And I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to use a sanding block. I'm just going to sand off all the rough edges. Okay, good enough. So now my next step is to color them. And if I had thicker cardstock, it would be good to use the thickest cardstock you have so that the color doesn't go through, but I don't think it's that bad. I don't mind it. And I could always cut out more apples and glue them to there. All right, so for the coloring, I am using, all right, so I have the cherry cobbler that I'm using to do the sentiment because all of my ink pads are still stuck in my Christmas card boxes. So I'm using light and dark old olive and light and dark cherry cobbler. Goodness, it's quite blurry there. I hope when I hold still you can see it. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to start. I like to start with dark and then move to light. So I'm going to start with the dark on old olive and color the veins and the stems of the apple leaves. Okay, and I will do that for each of them. Sorry you're stuck watching me color again. It seems to be every week, but this won't take very long. Oh, and this leaf has a little fold over to it, so I'm going to go ahead and color the back side of the leaf a little darker. Never really paid attention to whether I think the back of the leaves are actually lighter, but that's okay. I like it this way. Oh, good, you got sound. Thank you. Thank you, Pamela. Okay. Sorry, I had a message from my housekeeper. Hopefully it didn't make a mess of anything. Okay. All right, so then I'm going to take the light old olive, and I'm going to use the brush side of this one. And I'm just going to fill in being careful at the point. And then you know how there's these crosshatch strokes. I'm going to try to make those a little bit darker. And maybe up the edges, that too. Okay. There we go. So this, I made the first one out of basic white, and I'm doing this on very vanilla because, as I said, I'm out of basic white. I have to buy some more, I have to order some more. So I thought for sure I still had some, but I'm not finding it. So, okay, on to the apple. And I am going to use the dark cherry cobbler to just get these little cross hatch marks a little darker. And you notice that it is cut off the side of the card, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. Got some spots in there from something. Probably from the marks in the plate that was on top. A little bit here. Almost forgot that part. And this one. My husband and my brother are talking in the other room, so if you hear anything, that's what it is. Okay, and then I'm going to switch to my light. And I'm going to color this in with my light. Little tiny bit right there. Hi, Cheryl. Glad you could join us. All right. Next. So if you're local, on October 21st and 22nd, our church is putting on a show called Cornball Capers. Think Hee Haw, if you guys are old enough to remember Hee Haw when it was on. It's similar to that. Same corny jokes, but lots of great music with our house band, DBDB. And Pamela and I are performing in the show, so we would love to have you join us and come and see the show. We are selling tickets. They are $10 a piece or $25 per family. And it's October 21st and 22nd. Pretty sure it starts at 7 o'clock. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to put in a little more blending here. A little darker around the edges. Some shading here. Okay. And then I am going to use the light Old Olive, and I'm going to put a little mark in the apples. Okay. All right, so the next step would be to put this underpiece in here so that when it closes, there's a spot there. So I have one of those right here, and I am using this from the Apple Harvest, this spot right here. And I'm using Old Olive ink, so it's tone on tone. Get this out of the way here. And I'm just gonna go back and forth. So I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna turn the card, and I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna kind of line up my lines here, and then go back. Now this is the problem, I didn't get them close enough together here, so, oh, that's a little better. And I don't want it to be perfect. I don't want them to connect completely. I just want some texture, a little bit of texture on them. Oh, that one wasn't very dark. Just kind of hurrying along here, and see that I am leaving gaps between them again. Not on purpose, but it's happening, and that's okay. Still kind of looks good that way, so. Okay, just clean that off real quick. All my acrylic blocks are still in the boxes from my, you'll see them over here, I'll show you. All the boxes from the 20 cards that we did in September, beginning of September, whenever it was, a couple weekends ago. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put this on under here. So I'm going to use glue because then I have room to wiggle it around, but I have to be careful because I put too much glue on the other one and it oozed out when I put it on. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here. I know it looks like a lot, but it's not. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up on the bottom and the sides. And there we go. I'm just going to stand it up, make sure that it's lined up right. Okay. This one's much better than the first one I did. Okay, so then all we have to do is put thanks for your kindness. So we'll do that, and I'm just going to color the color on because, like I said, my ink pads are still in those bins over there, and I would have to dig through everything to find them. And I think this one, no, I'll put it here in the middle, just like I did the other one. Okay, oh, and I did it crooked. It's a Wendy original. Okay, and then there's room to write a note in here, or I can stamp something else. So for instance, I can stamp, the greatest gift is a good friend. If I was planning to give this thank you card to a friend. I can't believe I did that crooked like that. Oh well. Okay, so let's go ahead. We have plenty of time, so let's go ahead and do the other half, the other card. Let me just find a card base. I'm going to have to cut one real quick here. So 5.5. And it's going to be cut down, but scored at 4.25. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is first I'm going to stamp the flowers and see if I can do this stamping after it's cut, because remember I said I had that issue where I couldn't get it to stamp correctly and it ended up crooked. See there, not at all where they should be. This one's pretty close, but not quite. So I'm going to give this a try and see what we come up with. All right. So I'm just going to stick this on here, and I'm going to take my little apple off. Oh, I see a big circle of light there. Oh, well. Okay, I'm going to see what I can do here. It's not easy because there's that rim around it, and it's hard to tell if the rim actually lines up. So we'll see how good we can do here. We'll see what happens. What I should do is stamp it in Versamark first so it's can't see it. Yeah, let's just live a little. It's more exciting that way. Okay, let's see how we do. Not horrible, but not great either. So let's go ahead and do the other two. All right. See if I can look underneath it and get it lined up right. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that's a little better. And then over here, there's no, let's see here. That's the stem. We'll see. I think it's going to be way off. Take bets on it. All right, let's see what happens. It's a bit off, but you know, it's not bad, all things considered. And I'm using something that would have just been wasted. So, okay. Let me just clean that off. All right. Oh, I guess I'll just leave that there for now. Put this back here. Okay. So then what we do is we would color these in, and I'll try to do it kind of quickly. Should have done a different design, but got to find the right. The one that Jennifer McGuire did was with little different animals. Whoops, I don't want to do that. Different animals, I want to say they're holding flowers. And so she could use 4 different stamps and put them all on at once. Clear stamps would definitely work better for this. But I had to use what I could find. And we will be using this stamp set in the October card class. In fact, maybe we'll be making a card like this. I don't know. That would be our technique. So I may do that. Remember, if you're just coming on, to make sure you say something to me so I know that you're there and you're watching. So I will add you to my raffle. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, I will draw somebody's name and they will get something in the mail from me, or they'll get it the next time they come to card class. If they come to card class, save myself some postage. Okay. I think this time I'm just going to color the apples in with one solid color just to be quick. All right, let's just use the light one because then I can shade with it. Get these little spots here. Okay, there we go. And next. Is there anything you guys would like to watch, to see demonstrated? Is there anything that you would like me to make on one of my lives, which are normally Tuesdays? I am happy to keep looking for ideas, but if there's something specific that you would like, I would love to do it. So just let me know. You don't have to post it now. You can just send me a message, Facebook Messenger or email or text if you have my information. And just let me know things you'd like to learn. All right, let's just put some shading around the edges here. And maybe down at the bottom. Okay, so now we're going to put this on here. And what I'm going to do, she did this and I like the idea, is I'm going to put a little strip of old olive on there. You just find one from my scrap drawer here. Not quite long enough. This one's long enough. That's not old olive though. That is mossy meadow. No, that's not mossy meadow. It is. That is old olive. Okay, good. So I'm just going to cut off a little strip. Actually, you know what? The easiest way to do it would be to just put the little strip on here and then cut off the extra. This is not, this one's pretty empty. It's probably too much glue. I'm going to put it on here. Yep, there goes my husband laughing at something he saw on TV. Okay, and obviously it's not quite even. I want it to be even. Okay, there we go. Now I'm just going to take my trimmer and I'm going to trim that off the top. And I'll probably have to do a little bit of extra trimming with my snips because I don't want to cut the top of the card off. Uh-oh, looks like, no, that was glue. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, good. All right, and now I'm going to glue this on there so that that little green stripe shows. All right. So just a little bit above the apple, the edge. Good enough. All right. Then we're going to put that on here, like so. Making sure that it's even and that the apples are stuck to the little green line and I got glue on it. It's my little glue eraser, which is dirty and it's getting yuck on there, of course. That's all right. I'll get it when it's dry. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to make sure that this is going to fit in a regular envelope. So it's 5.5 and we want it to be 4 1/4. So I'm going to put the top of that up there. We're going to cut this off to 4 1/4. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece off too. There we go. So I'm going to put a piece, I could even do that down here, but I'm thinking I'd like to put some designer series paper down there with apples on it. And I don't think I have anything like that right now. Let me just look real quick. DSP I've got here. See what I've got that might work. Lots of flowers. Lots and lots. Oh, there's some acorns, and mushrooms, and houses. But nope, don't have a lot of variety right now. Oh, wait, there's more in front that I missed. Okay, let's see here. Okay, that will clash. That kind of looks like apple blossoms. You know what? I could make my own, couldn't I? Just like we did last week. I absolutely could. All right, so in that case, take that back off. I'm going to use, let's see what this is. It is 1 15/16 by 5.5. Okay, so here we go. This is 5.5. I'll just do this. I want it a little bit bigger than that because I want to be able to, you know what, I'm going to make it 4.25. That's going to make the top of the card very thick. Okay. So for now, I'm not going to color it in. I am just going to use this, the littler one. No, this, the bigger one. Okay. And, except I don't have, you know what? This is highly unusual. I'm just going to use a Stamparatus plate. And I'm going to do this in Old Olive. So actually, if it comes down to coloring it, I'm going to color it with just the Stampin' Write markers, because if I use the blends, they will bleed. It will bleed. So let's see. Let's put it, let's just do it the way that is. Okay. Oops, I pushed a little too hard. Not hard enough over here and too hard over there. And then I'm just going to put the corners in here. And a little bit of something, something up here. And a tiny little bit of something here. That's all I really need, because the rest will be covered. Okay, so just to show you, I will color one of the apples. Oh, this marker is drying, very much so. But you see that it's not going to, I've got to put some more re-inker in there, but you can see that it's not going to make the Old Olive ink run. So I'm just going to do that for now. And oh, there is a spot there that's going to need something else in it. Okay, we can do that. Let's put a stem in there. I think I just spun it a little. No, not too bad. Okay. I don't like the way that apple looks at all because the ink is so dry, but it is what it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to cut this off. So I'm going to cut off from the top. And we are going to cut off the 1 15/16 inch. It wasn't quite, actually, wasn't 1 15/16. It's 1 7/8, wasn't it? Let's see here. That's the wrong end. Oh, gosh. So actually, I want it to be almost 3 inches. I'm going to put it just under 3 inches because I want it to be able to, fold. I don't want it to be in the crease. Okay, I really don't like the way that apple looks, so I'm going to very carefully. It's a very dark apple. Better. I'm going to color the rest of them in later, as I said. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put this in here like so. Okay, just for my benefit, I'm going to take a pencil. I'm going to just put little lines here. Because I don't want to glue more than what I have to. All right. Who else is watching that hasn't said anything yet? Make sure you say hello so I can include you. Hi, Collie. Okay, so there's my line. There. Put this in. I'm going to line it up at the bottom. Make sure by standing it up, moving it around. I wish you guys could see that part. That's okay. You get it. It's a little crooked, but I think it will do. Now, let me see if I can get that off of there. Well, let's try the sander. It's getting there. I don't know what I did with my eraser. Here's another one. There we go. There. Now, so this one I would like to make, say, whoops, I got a little bit of glue in there. There we go. I think I'd like to make it say happy birthday. And I don't have a happy birthday stamp here right now. So I'm going to leave it blank for now, and I'm going to finish coloring that in afterwards. I could have put a solid old olive line there too, but let me show you how it fits in an envelope. And there you go. Fits beautifully in the envelope. And where is my other card? Right here. So there's the cards we made today. I can't believe how poorly I stamped that. I may put a banner there. See, that's the original one in the white. So there we are. There you have 2 days work. Hi, June. Glad you joined us. I'm just finishing up, so be sure to catch the replay. So this is what we did. That's called Off the Edge cards. And you'll see one is off the bottom of the edge and one is off the top of the edge. And I'm making my own designer series paper down here. I just have to color it in. I may use colored pencils. I don't know what I'll do with that blob though. Maybe I'll stick something there. And you know, you could put bling on it. You could wrap a ribbon around here and tie it here. Or you could just put gems here and there on it. And I may do that. I may put some gems down here. We shall see. That is it for today. Let me turn you around and talk to you. Flip you up. Look at my ceiling. Oop, there I am. Okay, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm glad you were here. I will be back on Tuesdays again from now on. I just had a couple of practices for that Cornball Capers show that were on Tuesdays. That's why I've missed a couple of those Tuesdays, plus my coming home from vacation. So I really enjoy doing this. But as I said, if there's something that you'd like me to demonstrate, please don't hesitate to ask me. I would be happy to demonstrate anything that anybody wants to see, or a specific stamp set that you want to me to use to get ideas. I can make several different cards, different ideas. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful night and a wonderful week, and I will see you all next Tuesday. Bye-bye.